Hello, Farlanders. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Farlands or Bust. Oh, I already got that iron. Indeed, Farlands or Bust. We're a little bit out of sorts here, but that's fine, because it's episode 700. Oh, I picked the right way. 775 of Farlands or Bust. Episode 775, being recorded live on Twitch. 775 being recorded live, Wolfie. And will be published on YouTube and as a podcast for your Friday, March 13th. Spooky noises. Friday the 13th. Friday, March 13th. Okay, that would have been great if there was another spooky noise that happened right there, but it didn't happen. 2020. Woof. Wolfie agrees. Let me grab some wood. I also got to remember to grab some pigs, because Wolfie took an extraordinary amount of damage in the last episode and has yet to have that fully recovered. Hold on. That was the sound of somebody driving very fast past my window on a moped. That's what that was. I'm gonna forget to use that as the end of the episode sound effect, but sure will be funny if I do remember. So yeah, welcome to episode 775 of Farlands or Bust. We're still raising money for PAWS, Progressive Animal Welfare Society, over at farlandsorbust.com. And we surpassed $1,000. $1,016 is where we're at for PAWS this season. Thank you everybody who has donated and who has continued to donate. And as we all know, in these very specific times and situations, it's the nonprofits, the small businesses that tend to get hurt the soonest and for the longest. So I appreciate every little bit that you can donate to PAWS or any charity really at this time. But PAWS is what we've chosen to support this season, Season 8 of Farlands or Bust. And when you do donate, you can ask a question. Got a few questions here from donors. We've reached a point in the Farlands or Bust world where there's a lot of sheep, first of all, but also there's a lot of this stuff. The last episode ended with a lot of this floaty islandy, jagged, rocky things, and it's very neat to look at. Isn't it, though? Isn't it? So, yeah, farlandsorbust.com is where you can donate. Links all over on every page, as well as information about the series, if you're new here. And I appreciate having you along for the journey. For the journey, indeed. So, I was just streaming here. I did a little thing, a flippy floppy thing. Instead of starting by recording Farlands or Bust, I've actually been streaming for a couple of hours already, 3+ hours. We played another one of those simulator games, air quotes. That was not, well, it was one of those simulator games. I want to say they're bad games, but they're good live stream content. And then we played a bit of GeoGuessr, which was fun. And now we're doing Farlands or Bust. So I apologize if, like, my voice is on its waning moments. But yeah. We're also talking, we started out talking a lot about the COVID-19, I believe, is the name we're giving it, or trying to give it, since it has already been incorrectly branded as coronavirus. And I don't want to go too deep into this, because it's clearly filling all of our pigs! Filling all of our timelines and news and feeds, and sometimes you just want to take a break. Not to dissuade any importance of the situation or the topic, but perhaps you just want to hang out and accidentally... Oh, I didn't eat that. Okay, Wolfie got all those. Hello, chicken. Yep. Are there any more pigs? Yes, there is. And zombies. Got him. Alright, let's go. Oh, more pigs. And zombies. So yeah, it's certainly an interesting time, isn't it? And oh, this pig is crafty and swift. Not enough for me, though. So yeah, I certainly don't have all the information. But then again, neither do some elected officials, yet they continue to say whatever's on their mind, as incorrect as it may be. But yeah, it's particularly interesting. I'm going to use the word interesting here in Washington State, since it is a bit of a ground zero for the United States part of the pandemic, what is now a pandemic. So yeah, that's like a pyramid right there. It's a little bit strange. I'm sure we've all seen the graphs of the exponential growth. We've all read the articles. Some probably more paranoid. Some probably trying to be less to ease the strain of it, probably too much. But yeah, this is certainly an interesting time. And I mentioned this in the was it the last episode? A few episodes ago, where I'm like, okay, hopefully, it's not going to be like an apocalyptic end of times scenario. For some people it might be, but for the vast majority of us, probably not. It's going to be an inconvenience. It's going to get a lot more inconvenient soon, or else it should. It should get a lot more inconvenient soon, because that's the only way to stop its exponential spread. But it is going to be interesting to see if we learn anything from this, and also, what's the next one going to be? And are we going to have enough time to both learn from and also rebound from this, both healthcare-wise, economic-wise, infrastructure-wise? That's more of the spooky part for me, I think. And not for me personally, but just generally trying to think of the global scope of the thing. Already here in Washington State, the governor has banned all public events or gatherings of over 250 people or more. I was thinking of going... Remember the Kurt goes to a swap meet? Remember that video? I was going to go to another swap meet, but that obviously got canceled. But otherwise, it's not... As somebody who already works from home and does this for a living, it's not going to probably impact my day-to-day career life, so to say. Where's Wolfie going? There you are. But it is going to impact a lot of other people. And it's mostly the... Oh, I went a little bit Sean Connery there. It's mostly the dragons. No, it's mostly the people who can't afford it and who are going to really get... and have already been getting the shaft of it all. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting time. So it's hard not to talk about it when this series is basically just a one-person podcast where it's like, these are the things that are on my mind. This is what I've done in the last week since I saw you. So yeah, it's what Fajitas said, that's a good quote. If you're not worried, then you should probably be worrying. but if you are worried, then you don't need to worry. It's kind of a way to find a balance of it. It doesn't feel, and I was mentioning this on stream before, nobody in power wants to be the one to say everything is canceled and to put in anything under the word quarantined or cut off or canceled. But that, as China has seemingly showed with their response in doing that, in quarantining, in basically halting their entire cities, that is how they've curved and broken the graphs, the exponential growth. So, and yeah, and every day counts. So, yeah. Just be smart, be safe, don't hoard things, and we'll continue to the far lands. And awakeness, everybody. Oh yeah, that's right. The last episode was called, like, Wash Your Hands, wasn't it? Or that was 2 episodes ago. The last episode was the 9-year anniversary thing. So yeah, we have kind of talked about it. And I suppose, if anything, these episodes of Far Lands or Bust will be a time capsule of the evolving situation and my thoughts on it. Things that I've been up to, not large gatherings or public events, obviously, but the girlfriend and I, as I've mentioned before, have a, I don't want to call it a tradition, but we find crappy old 80s movies, 70s and 80s movies, to watch together. Mostly she introduces them to me, since I have not seen many of these classics of late modern cinema. And like, we watched Escape from New York, we watched Death Race, the original Death Race, we watched Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie starring Sylvester Stallone. There's a couple other things in there, but the most recent cultural experience we sought out was The Toxic Avenger, the first one. There's apparently many, many things of The Toxic Avenger, but Toxic Avenger, that is a movie. I wouldn't call it a horror movie. I would call it a gore movie. Ow! That's what I get. It's not scary or spooky, but it is one of those brains everywhere, and guts and intestines and boobs. So many boobs. It was an experience of acting prowess and special effects precision. But the thing that caught my attention the most, the star of the show for me, was when our hero, the Toxic Avenger, chased down some car thieves who had recently stolen a second-generation yellow 2-door Toyota Corolla. And it turned into a mad race around town. And it was amazing. A second-generation Corolla is honestly kind of the nicer Corolla. Nicer looking. It has that cool wraparound front grille. And it was more of the fastback design, this one. So yeah, the Toxic Avenger jumped on the roof, and they were fighting over the steering wheel, and it was skidding and jumping all around. I forgot what city that this took place in. And then it got thrown off a cliff with the bad guy inside, who immediately fell out in a spill of blood and guts and gore, and then it exploded. Trauma, yeah, trauma. She knows all about the trauma. I've never heard about the trauma films, but yeah. Not only is the Toyota Corolla a transformer, and also on just a t-shirt at TeePublic, the Farlands or Bus store, it's the Toxic Avengers whip of choice. Oh, I just thought that was funny. Because I even saw it on the, like, just parked on the street. Because you see, this is like an early 80s movie, I think. So I was like seeing all these like old cars and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, a Corolla. And then it happens to be the one that the guys steal from a grandma. And then the Toxic Avenger has to, you know, do his toxic avenging. So that was pretty funny. I enjoyed that thoroughly. So yeah, Toxic Avenger. It's a movie. Oh, buddy. Speaking of gore, this last weekend we did a hike. We hiked up Poo Poo Point. Yes, that's the name of it. Probably won't do that one again. It's a very popular hike. Even on a Monday, we had trouble finding parking. It's a very popular hike. It reminds me a lot of, if you know Phoenix, then you know Camelback Mountain, which is a mountain, a hike that's in the middle of the city, and it's free, and that sheep is dying because it's a city. Or every hike in Sedona. No, I liked Sedona. There are some that you can get away from people, but like it was pretty. It wasn't packed or anything like that, but you get the type of hikers who are, you know, ones who aren't paying for a national park pass or a state park pass. City folk. And the biggest problem we ran into, it is a nice hike. It's a very strenuous hike, over 3 miles. I think it goes up like 1,700 feet in elevation. So my thighs hurt now. And when you get to the top, it's a launch point for paragliders, because there's a good updraft that they paraglide around. And pro tip, if you go there and hang out, once in a while, the paragliders will be like, anybody want to ride down? $50, and I'll paraglide you down if you don't want to hike down. And you can do that. I didn't do that, obviously. But the biggest problem was off-leash dogs. Off-leash dogs. And then those owners of the off-leash dogs getting mad at us for telling them to put their dogs on leashes. Because Juno doesn't like new dogs, and we don't want any bad experiences. We don't want Juno to be in any harm, but also other dogs. Just some real jerks. Real jerks. Like, the vast majority of people are like, oh, okay, sure. But the other vast majority are just jerks. I don't want to get too much into it. It was more of the girlfriend got really much more ticked off at it than I did, since I tend to cower and avoid confrontation and anger and any sort of emotion. But yeah, that was kind of a bummer. But I get that based on the fact that it was a popular, free, easily accessible hike. We did it. Check it off the list. We're gonna definitely be finding more secluded, more difficult hikes even. That hopefully dissuades that type of clientele, I guess we can call them. But yeah, otherwise, it was a hike. We got out. We hiked. Indeed. Like, even without another dog, there are some people who have some serious aversions to dogs. Some cultures, entire cultures in the world that just don't like dogs. Or perhaps, like I said, some people who perhaps have a bit of a trauma associated with them. Oh, he's friendly, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. The law. Do you, when you get in a car, do you put your seatbelt on? Oh, that's right, because it's safer and it's also the law. So is leashing your dog in a trail that's not an off-leash trail. Same thing. Anyway, I mean, this is a video game. I guess you can all make your comments about Wolfie being off-leash. He's not even a dog, he's Wolf. He's a wild beast. So yeah. Some questions I got here, though. Like this one from Lon McGregor. You mentioned in the past how you feel about public transport, but if space travel took off soon, what would you feel about public space transport? Shuttles to Mars or the moon? Would you prefer to go it alone with your own spaceship or share the ride with others? I think that is a very difficult analogy, a simile analogy, comparison to make. Like maybe in the vast and distant future, there will be truckloads, rocket loads of people sitting side by side traveling to the moon or Mars or orbital station or whatever. But within my lifetime, in the next 50 years, will there even be commercial space flight, A, that I could afford, and B, that doesn't just take people up, have some weightlessness, and fall down to Earth? I don't know. I don't think so. So I don't think that's something that I need to worry about. You may have heard that I have problems answering hypothetical questions. I'm going to try, though, in the morning. And awakeness. And public space transportation. All right, let's go. I suppose I wouldn't care. Like, if it was, like, free, specifically. Like, the dream is when they knock on my door and I'm like, later, nerds. I wouldn't be so... Look at this single pumpkin. Look at this single pumpkin. Pumpkin? Hey, pumpkin. Look at him hanging out there. I'm going to take you with. Give you a friend. So yeah, I wouldn't be picky. I'd be like, you want to put me in the cargo hold? That's fine. It'd be nice to be able to see outside if you had a window or something, but I won't be too picky. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think that would matter. I honestly think it would matter. I know earlier I probably said, like, oh, it's got to be a solo one-way mission. Solo would be tough. Solo would be tough. That would be very difficult. I don't know, like, I wouldn't complain and I would like to, but I don't know that my mental fortitude is up to that job. So, yeah. I think hopefully that answers your question both literally and hypothetically. Indeed. I mean, if public transport was my only option, then obviously I would learn to deal with it. Since it's not, and I have a car and other means of transportation, that's a big difference. I don't just have a spaceship that I could take instead of taking old Elon Musk's SpaceX bus. So that, I think, there's a bit of a differentiation there. Indeed. Oh, need a boat. Boop, 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 boop. Delta Whiskey, with a very generous donation that pushed us over the $1,000 total mark at farlandsorbust.com, has a question. Are there any Farlands or Bust quirks, foibles, idiosyncrasies you tend to pick up on, attempt, avoid when recording? Well, I mean, I switched the intro a little bit, and I failed the last 2 episodes to keep up with that, but I switched the intro up a little bit. I suppose that could be an idiosyncrasy. I've tried and failed to stop saying so often, because that's something I did a lot more in the earlier days, but I still do. Specifically when recording, solo recording. I guess I don't think I do it as much, or if at all, streaming, because there's always like a chat to look at or whatever. And now I'm really conscious about it, so I'm really avoiding saying it. Yeah, I don't think so. I can't, like, all the idiosyncrasies and quirks I've, like, leaned into, like, Indeed and Woof and all these other things. I've kind of leaned into these things because I realize that's kind of what gives it a personality. Sorry, I'm just checking. I got some comments in the last episode like, "Oh, you're gonna reach the floating point soon." No, we'll definitely notice. We'll definitely notice. So no, I don't know that I consciously avoid or attempt. Everything is pretty much me. Like Indeed was something I was saying a lot prior to doing this. It's just a more interesting way to say yes or I agree. So yeah, I don't know. Like the sorry, there was a more to this question than meets the eye. Like the times when a hidey hole can be closed with a single block or dug out entirely using one tool. Oh, that's less of a commentary idiosyncrasy than just a gameplay idiosyncrasy. I mean, if I do have those sort of things, I don't think about them very consciously. I mean, I like a lot of it has just come down to just mechanics. Like I try to avoid boating over one square deep of water because Wolfie will spawn and cause what happened earlier in this episode, or actually take a lot of damage or hurt Wolfie. I am not sure how else to interpret this question. I said that was like a really aggressive There's nothing wrong with by the way. It's a vocal filler, a common use of filling time and space in conversation. Now I'm just gonna do it too much. I didn't even realize I was doing that. The mayonnaise of language. That's pretty funny there. Panda Power. Delta Whiskey goes on to say, also this dog is getting closer every time I add a line to the comment box. What's going on? I'm assuming on the donation page of the Paws website, there is a background image that is set to fill an area, and every time the area gets bigger, like adding one more line to the comment box, the image size is bigger. So that's what Delta Whiskey is talking about. The only way to see that for yourself is to donate to the Paws fundraiser charity at farlandsorbust.com. Oh, man. How's that for marketing, advertising, segues, head and shoulders? If you weren't here for the stream, you have no idea what I'm talking about in reference to that. So yeah, those are the questions. I'm out of questions. We still got half a day left here. Got to go to farlandsorbust.com, donate, ask a question, and then we'll definitely get to it in the next episode. We are gonna go grocery shopping after I'm done here. Little bit not concerned, but we'll see how things are. We don't need toilet paper, but we're just going to just get our normal groceries, but maybe just ahead of time, and a little bit more than we normally do, just to be sure. I brought friends! I brought you to a friend. I told you I'd find you friends, Pumpkin. Now I'm bringing you to friends. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. If only time back in this way. Friends. You know that show that was kind of popular at one point? Friends! Farlands or bust. Bringing pumpkins together. since 2011. Well, now I gotta use that as my thumbnail, don't I? Here, Wolfie, just sit right here, will ya? No. Up. No. Oh, dingle. Come on. Yep, up. Ha! Oh, he's looking. Ha! Bling! Look again. Hey, Wolfie. Wolfie. Hey, stupid. Wolfie. Dingus. Ah! Alright. Amazing. Episode title for YouTube? What? Friends? Friends! Friends. Pumpkin friends. Ooh. So yeah, that's gonna happen. I'll certainly maybe perhaps have stories about that in the next episode. Bringing pumpkins together. What else is new? No, not much else. Oh! Iceberg right ahead. One gourd at a time. You friends. You people. You people. Neat. See, this is what happens when I don't have things to say. I could talk more about the COVID thing, but I don't want to. I'm trying to give folks some buffer space. Both literally, topically, and physically. You must physically give everybody space. It's the only way that this is going to get better. But it is certainly going to get worse first. So let's see here. Let's dig down for the end of the episode. Hidey hole here. Boop. Wolfie, where you at? Oh, you want to have a seat? Right there. Thank you. Wah-bah! Remind you again, farlandsorbust.com is where you can learn everything you need to know about this series. Don't look to the comments. farlandsorbust.com is where you want to go. And also donate to Pause. Now that we're over $1,000 raised for Pause this season, we're well on our way. Much appreciated. Everybody who's given thus far. And, bye, Wolfie. Let's make some beds as we do. 2, 3. Oop, that's 4. I know how to count. Listen. Let's make a spare boat while we're at it. Indeed. 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 Oh, thank you so much for watching. I said washing, because somebody in chat just said wash your hands. Thank you so much for washing your hands, and thank you so much for watching episode 775 of Farlands or Busts. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Hold on.